Was Captain America Brave New World a disappointment? Over the last week, the reviews for the movie have been somewhat mixed, with some believing it to be a good movie, while not Prime Marvel, it's still an enjoyable, good movie. However, the other side just think it's a disappointing mess of a movie with some highlights. Personally, I take the side of it's an enjoyable, fun, good movie, because the general consensus on Brave New World is far from amazing. I wanted to really take the time to explore whether the movie succeeds. I mean, is it a well-made movie? Are the critics right? Is it really a fall from grace from Marvel's Prime? And is Brave New World simply a disappointment? The first thing regarding Brave New World I want to explore is what were the expectations originally going into the movie. Now, while everyone does have different expectations and did want different things from the movie, I think the general desire from a Marvel movie at this point in time, in the universe, is just a well-made MCU movie that can help set up the future for both the Avengers and the universe as a whole. This being the expectation of many is understandable and very much reasonable considering the way the MCU has been recently, being a jumbled mess with many plot threads, most of which are unresolved. However, I think it's an important thing to note that Captain America Brave New World is never meant to be this massive movie that shifts the whole landscape of the Marvel Universe and ushers in a new age. That to me is far more likely to be something like Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four. I mean, Fantastic Four has a lot to do with the upcoming Avengers Doomsday and is the most important thing in setting up the whole conflict. So, when it comes to Brave New World, I personally feel that some of the people who feel less fond about the movie had unreasonable expectations of what the movie would be and would do for the universe. Now, while that's not the only complaint people had, I still think it's necessary to go over the expectations because it's very important in discussing whether a movie is a disappointment or not. I have to say that for me, my expectations for Brave New World was something like Winter Soldier, a mystery spy sort of narrative with a more grounded story and good realistic action. Other than Red Hulk, of course, but overall that's what I wanted, and that's what I thought the movie would be. And as we will discuss later, for the most part, that is kind of what we got. Overall, the expectations people have for this movie is 100% a factor on whether they like the movie or not, and to me that shows the audience expectations for the movies in this phase are far stricter and harder to achieve than any other phase prior for Marvel. Anyways, enough of the preemptive talk. The first thing I really want to dive deep into was the story of Brave New World. Now, it's no surprise that Marvel isn't exactly known for its incredible storytelling. Rather, its interconnected web of movies and how they relate and work together to build up a larger world. So, a Marvel movie with a good story-focused plot is something we rarely get. Even with that being said, Brave New World is definitely not the strongest Marvel movie when it comes to story, and while I actually do think the story in the movie is good and compelling, especially when it focuses on characters like Isaiah Bradley and Thaddeus Ross, in my opinion, some of the best performances in the MCU in general came from these two, and I have to give my flowers to both Kyle Lumbly and Harrison Ford. Regardless of the amazing performances and good story beats for these two characters, Brave New World is just okay when it comes to the spy mystery plot, as the movie's main villain, the leader, and the sub-villain, I guess you could call him, Seth Volker, which I didn't know that was his name until I looked it up, are kind of bland and not all that interesting, and this isn't just a jab on the actor's performance but rather the script and the way they play into the story. I really like Giancarlo Esposito, but he didn't bring much to the role, and I think that's not due to him. I think that's due to the fact they really shoehorned him into the movie due to reshoots. Now, the leader does kind of cause everything to happen in the movie and does create tension. It still feels like he's secondary in the story though, and it feels just more like a Hulk villain in a Captain America movie rather than a standalone villain that Captain America needs to overcome. This leads to the story falling flat on a lot of the reveals and tension, as most of the time I didn't care too much about what would happen to him. All of this isn't to say the story is bad, because it isn't. It does work, and it keeps the audience interested, for the most part. It's just that some of the failings of the story keep it from being amazing and keep the audience really engaging with the world of the movie, which Marvel has done so well for so many prior movies. Secondary, another very polarizing topic in Brave and the World is the action. Although usually action isn't that polarizing because I think general audiences usually can agree when it's good or when it's bad. So first things first, the grounded action. For example, the fights in the buildings with the one-to-one hand combat was almost always bad in the movie. I mean, the scenes are cut up pretty awfully and it doesn't flow at all. It makes it just look choppy. It's a choppy mess of a fight. Because with a lot of the Marvel scenes that they do in the movies, they love to make a lot of jump cuts and cuts between, motions of hands, and it doesn't work. It doesn't look good. People don't prefer it. It's not even TikTok brain. It's not even like, oh well, you don't have the attention span to watch a fight. It doesn't look good. Just because it's quicker or cut up doesn't make it better. But with that being said, the action in the sky, for example, at the Celestial Island against the fighter jets, that looked really cool. And I think it was done really well. I mean, some of the coolest action sequences the MCU, in my opinion, has ever had. I would also say, while the Red Hulk fight wasn't very long, I think it is some of the most fun MCU I have watched in a while, man. Watching Red Hulk go at it was... that brought a smile to my face of just 5 minutes of Red Hulk. And I know it's a short time, but man, that was sick. It was like watching The Incredible Hulk for the first time. Even though The Incredible Hulk is a dog shit movie, the Hulk stuff is still cool in it, you know what I mean? So to be honest, from an action standpoint, that's all there really is to say. Because it's not that complex of a thing to discuss, and it's kind of simply either good or bad to me. There's not much room for, changing my opinion or other people's opinion of what they'd like to see. But, that being said, I don't see most of the complaints with this movie about the action. You know what I mean? There is problems with the hand-to-hand combat that people have brought up. But with the Red Hulk stuff, the flying and stuff fighting scenes, they're not criticized. I think mostly it's just the time. They didn't give enough time for Red Hulk. They didn't. It's simple enough. I mean, it would have cost a lot, but I don't know. Reshoots, all of that, it made the movie go up in cost. And I guess they didn't want to keep adding more Red Hulk. It would cost so much money. But don't advertise it like that if you're not going to put that much Red Hulk in it. I think that was disappointing for most people. But it's whatever. It's whatever. Now, as of recording, I wrote this the week after the movie came out and I watched it for the first time with friends. But it's been, a month and a half, and I feel like I need to give more of an opinion later on in retrospect. So this next portion of the video is more of a retrospect on how the movie was seen and performed. Now, I'm the last person that would use Rotten Tomatoes as a good score and a good measure of a movie's worth and quality, but it is, not important. But I think it's notable to bring up. The movie got a 48% on critics and a 79% for the audience. Critics mean nothing, and their opinions are irrelevant. Their opinions should never be included in anything. I think they're so pointless. Audience is all that matters because those are the people who are watching the fucking movie. That's who it's meant for. So, I just want to get that off my chest. It got 79%, and it's generally considered passable. And I think that's fine. I mean, I don't think it's that good. I think it is the best movie, story-wise, Marvel have released since Endgame. Story-wise, that's it. Story, not anything else, just story. But I don't know, it's hard to look at a movie like this and say a lot of good stuff about it. It's just okay. It's like a 6 out of 10, 6.5 out of 10 movie. Maybe even a 7 if you really want to put it up there. I just don't think it did enough. I think it was a cool film, but at the time we are in as a Marvel fans, where we need to go to get to Doomsday, it's just disappointing that nothing more happened from the movie. And that, I think, all comes down to expectations, which I talked on previously. The expectations of the movie really crushed, I think. People thought this movie was going to usher in the Avengers, the New Age, which there is some, truth to that it should have. But Marvel needed to be upfront about what the movie was going to be about, I think. that led to people not understanding what the movie would ultimately be. I think if they advertised it as the movie it is and was, then I think it would have done fine. I think it's just important to mention that Marvel kind of did this to themselves. All the other Captain America movies all set up the Avengers, all set up something in the universe. This set up almost nothing. Really didn't set up anything. So, and I know that people like when things set up, and maybe it's not always important to set something up, and I know people complain like, oh my god, well, it doesn't, not everything needs to be set up, and I 100% agree. I get that, but it's not Marvel back then. We're not just finishing Endgame. We are 6 years apart from Endgame. Wow, that is crazy to say. 6 years, man. 6 years from Endgame. We're at a point where we need to move forward. We need to progress the story of the MCU. We need to do something here. And this movie didn't do it, which ultimately led people disappointed. And I think that's the takeaway that needs to be had here from the movie. It's not a bad movie. It's a good film. I would say it's a good film, but it's disappointing overall. It's a disappointing movie because the expectations from the movie set by not just the audiences but Marvel themselves were not met. At a time where we needed something to really push forward the universe, it didn't come. Now, I know there's Thunderbolts and I know there's Fantastic Four that's coming out, but you can't just ignore a movie like this. You can't just ignore a movie like Captain America that's so integral to the Marvel universe and then write it off as, well, it's a standalone story, and that is what it is, but don't pretend it's something other than that. Don't advertise it like it's some, new, I get it. Marvel, they didn't fully advertise it as some big setup, but they put Red Hulk in it. He's only in there for a little bit. In the teaser clip, they talk about the Avengers that they released. They were clearly trying to bank on people coming here to see what's next for Marvel, to see if they have what's in store. And they didn't deliver on that. And that is honestly the disappointment I think people really had with the movie. I don't think people wanted or cared about this movie being a really good story and thrill, to be honest. I don't think people wanted that. And to a degree, that's fine. Everyone has what they want. But I think this just missed the point because wrong place, wrong time, ultimately. You know what I mean? The movie wasn't going to succeed, and financially, I don't think it did well at all. I'm going to go check that actually. Let me check the financial of the movie. Checking Box Office Mojo. So the movie made a domestic $192 million and an international $209 for a combined $402 million worldwide. That is not good for a Marvel movie. I don't care what anyone says, it's not good. It's not. The budget was pretty high, and even if the budget's lower than some people thought, and it's like 200 to 150 million, this is still not good. I think it ultimately probably did make money for Marvel, maybe. I'm not the financier, that's like a word, but I think for a movie like Captain America that has been so successful over the years for Marvel, this is a disappointing result. For every party involved, I feel like this movie was disappointing. And that's just the reality of it all. The financially didn't really do much for Marvel. Moving the story for the Marvel didn't do it for fans. And the story, while being good, and while having some great moments in the movie, didn't do enough. And I genuinely feel bad for Anthony Mackie because I like him. I didn't like him before this movie that much, but seeing the advertisements for the movie and how he was talking and stuff about it and how he was talking about the Marvel movies in general, I did begin to like him, and I do like him now. So I'm a bit sad that his first standalone movie, this is what happens, but it's not his fault. It's the fault of Marvel, really. I'm not going to blame audiences for this. Some people complain about anything. I'm not talking about those people. I'm talking about general Marvel fans. My friends who are massive, like I'm a massive Marvel fan, but they like a lot of stuff. So they will like, even if it's not that good, they'll still enjoy it and still have a good time, which is good. And they had a good time watching the movie, but I could even see on their faces, it was a bit disappointing. No one left there feeling really complete with the movie, I feel like. But that's just my take. Ultimately, I feel Captain America Brave New World, unfortunately, was a disappointment. Whether that be its own fault or just how the circumstances led it to be, it's still a disappointment. So, thank you very much for watching. I'm planning on making more videos like this for future movies and even prior movies that have released for Marvel in the last couple of years, to see really the impact at its release and now. So that's what I'm planning on doing. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, maybe a comment on what I could do better, what you would like to see, what movies. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video.